Welcome to the CWC Podcast with your hosts, David Selby, Andy Horton, and Savannah Smith.
Welcome to the CWC Podcast, your home for news, rumors, and interviews around the sport of chuckwagon racing. I'm your host, David Selby, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Andy Horton and Savannah Smith. We are finally getting back to our normal health. We might hear a couple of coughs and sniffles here and there today, but it's still good timing. It's good timing because while we're a little bit late to come here and reminisce on the national championships, we're perfectly set up to get ready for this next race right ahead of us, the Loretta Lynn Fall Chuckwagon Race in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. So we've got a little catching up to do on Clinton, plenty to look forward to. Later in the show, we're going to hit on the ACWRA points standings, and we're going to see how things are shaping up for the last three sanctioned races of the year. It's all coming up on the CWC podcast.
I'm excited.
Almost didn't say it right. CWC.
You can't mess up your own name.
You got it.
People know, like they're so used to hearing it, they know. So I can mess a few things up now. We've earned that. We're a year in. We're over a year in on this show. How does that feel? We're on episode 64.
That's weird.
Feels surreal.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does feel surreal.
We can talk to other people who are starting podcasts and like talk down at them at this point.
Yep. Right. With all of our amazing reach and all of our years.
Only if they don't have technical difficulties.
Yeah. And for them to know for them to know any better, they'd have to go and look us up and really look at our numbers,
right.
To know that
we're
smaller-ish. I mean, we're pretty big deal.
All right.
We're national-ish.
National.
We're multi-state.
But that's a true statement, right?
How are you guys feeling? You guys feeling better?
Yes, so much better.
Yeah, I'm gonna survive. My nose is red, but it's not because of being sick. It's a literal sunburn. So, I was at a barrel race, an outside barrel race, which is odd. We don't normally do those. So getting to do an outside barrel race was a different situation, and it was facing south. So like the sun was just shining right in our face the whole time. So
not cool.
So I'm a little burnt. If I took my hat off, you'd really know how burnt.
Oh yeah. Cause you have the solar panel up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I know.
I had to turn my hat around backwards to shoot because the flash trigger was sticking up on the camera. So my forehead is like, it is bad.
Well, I'm sure it'll tan nicely in the next couple of days.
But I mean, there was a minute there after we got back. I mean, I was getting sick on the drive home. I'm pretty sure I just felt terrible. And then when we got back, it got to a point a couple days in where I thought I was going to have to die to get better. It was so bad.
She was, dude.
Mine hit me the worst Sunday, and I remember trying to help second shoot for interviews with David, and I'm just like holding in my coughs with everything I have.
We'll die for this show.
Oh, I thought we did for a minute. Like,
jeez. Well,
yeah.
My whole family was sick, and I come home to that. And I'm like, I'm definitely going to get sick when I get home because I'm just like, I'm depleted and I can barely move because, you're just on your feet so much down there. And I mean, obviously we work hard because we choose to, at the end of the day, if you wanted to sit down, nobody's going to question you. Same for me. Same for you, Savannah. I mean, maybe Savannah, we might question her, but no, but Savannah was down there like in the bottoms and working like directly with people and stuff. And so we didn't see her that much during the week, but I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that happens after we even shut the cameras down. I know you had some late nights, Andy. You were working on stuff to get things turned around for the next day, just trying to make sure that the production carries on. And, we're not down there just doing one thing. We're down there, we're filming for a DVD. We're filming to capture the history of this race. We're trying to do the CWC podcast. We're trying to do a production to go on the TVs during the races. And we're doing a TV show. We're doing all these things, and we have a crew. Yes, we had a crew of 14 people this year.
And we're doing a half a dozen things that normally all take a crew.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
So everybody gets worked pretty good down there, and fortunately we have a great team. Everybody had a great attitude. And how do you not when you're down there? I mean, it's about the best place to be at that point in the year. I mean, it's nowhere else I'd rather be. And yeah, it's always humbling to go back to Clinton.
Mm.
So I kind of wanted to jump in a little bit on what everybody was doing. So Savannah, talk a little bit about how your week started. What was it like hanging around Desperados, the big mule team and their family and everything during the race week?
Oh, it was awesome. So it started out meeting up with them Saturday, and I had my GoPro hooked to the front of my car so I could follow them and get footage of them driving up to Clinton and then pulling onto the ranch, which I think is going to look really, really neat. And it was just awesome to kind of follow them through and, see them relaxing and just kind of hanging out and enjoying what they've worked really hard for all summer. Everybody was just in really positive spirits. I got to hang out with Eddie Watkins and talk to him a little bit, hear more about like the true origin of the team. I also got to ride around and get some footage of him driving his team of mules around the ranch, which I also thought it's going to be gorgeous if it's stable enough. It was really cool getting to follow them out to the races and, interview them beforehand and just kind of follow the emotions of the day, getting to follow their emotions as they're preparing for the race, going out to the track, warming up the mules and going out to the line, and then really getting to see the emotions once they've hit the bottom of the hill and talk about their run and how they wanted to strategize and do better the next day, or, what they thought they did really well on. I'm a big emotions person, so it was really neat to be kind of have a backseat and be a part of all that. And while they didn't win that fourth national championship, they were very humble and, they acknowledged that everybody in their heat were very competitive and worked really, really hard. And if they were going to lose to anybody, they know that, it was earned, that they all put in their best.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll be excited to see how this whole story shakes out. I know that's kind of the first time we've done that. It's the first time we've sent somebody and had somebody there in the thick of it with the team. And so, thanks to Desperados for giving us that kind of access. And, thank you for going and kind of hooking
thank me. I had a blast. But I do want to reiterate that thank you to that whole crew. You guys were so welcoming, so kind. I had a blast, and that bag of cough drops on Sunday was heaven sent.
Oh, man.
But I've really enjoyed getting to spend the summer with you guys. David, I told you we are tentatively planning a watch party when season 3 comes out, and I'm looking forward to that too. We're just adding to our found Chuckwagon family.
Yeah. Awesome. I feel like anybody that we get to kind of target with the show, with the stuff that we're doing, it's really neat to see how those relationships kind of flourish and grow. And yeah, I'm sure that'll be a special thing for you and the Desperados. I mean, forever from now on out. And getting to interview those guys. Jason Reynolds interviewed him specifically with the Lit interview.
The fancy interview.
The big one. It was cool. And, I could even tell that him coming into that, he was more accustomed to having the camera on, and he just jumped right into it and knocked it out of the park. And the big mule interviews that we did, it included several teams, and, we didn't want to leave anybody out, but obviously there's a lot of teams that get left out. We're trying to tell a story based on, hopefully we get that team that wins it. But this year was cool because, we're also following a team, so we get to win or we get to lose with them. Spoiler alert, they didn't win. And so,
Right.
And so it's still going to be so cool to relive that whole thing and show that as a story, tell that story back in the way that we do our storytelling with that show. So I'm stoked about it. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I'm excited to see how we can expand on that in the future. And it's something we haven't done in the first 2 seasons at that level anyways.
Right.
So yeah, it should be neat. And I also love that for Clinton. I love getting to go and show what it's actually like in a campsite, not just for a racer, but for a family, people that are down there and staying there. So, it can be representative of the racers, but also the people that come there and actually take that weekend. So pretty cool. I think for the first time, I wasn't on my feet walking through campsites this year. I just could not. I had to have other people doing that. And I missed that in a sense because that's something I would do for days and hours on end, and I got to know a lot of people in the chuck wagon racing community by doing that. So kind of a little bit jealous this year, had to kind of forego getting out there and just saying hi to all the people that I would normally walk by their site and just hang, maybe have dinner, have a sip of, tea with them and enjoy myself. But, Andy, so on the production side this year, I know we had a couple of things that were maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit better, a little bit more robust, than in the past. What was that like for you?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we tried some stuff. Just on the side of getting footage, into like a switcher where we can manage it. Last year we were running SDI cable, which for those who don't know what language I'm speaking, it's like just coax cable. Like you can go buy this stuff at maybe not the same quality, but you can go buy this stuff at Walmart and use like coax connectors to hook this stuff together. And there's a limit to like how long you're supposed to run that. And we're exceeding that limit by quite a bit. Like it made things tough last year. And last year I was like, we got to figure out fiber optic. We need to like maybe learn what to do here. And so I've spent a lot of time trying to figure that out. And I'm not going to say that I've got it 100%, but we were able to employ some stuff or deploy some stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And you employed some stuff too.
Yeah. We basically strung fiber optic cable all over the side of the bluff, and that pretty much fixed a couple of cameras that we had that were a little glitchy. It made them super steady, super reliable. Last year we had a wireless setup that we were trying to shoot the curve with, and we had some difficulties with that. And this year we tried a different wireless setup, just a different brand. We were trying to get some more reach out of it. We had the same difficulties with it when it came to Friday. Or was it Saturday? So Saturday. So I made a late night attempt and a lot of trips between the trailer and the announcer stand to try to maybe figure out how to improve that situation a little bit. And I have mixed reports. It's hard for me to keep track of exactly what happened, but there's always going to be some difficulty with wireless stuff. And then the other side of things was the viewing experience. So last year we had a couple of smaller TVs that we stuck in the pavilion that we kind of rigged, like ratchet strapping light stands with TVs on them to the poles and stuff. And it was a good experience. I mean, you got to see the races from a perspective that you don't normally, and it got rid of a lot of blind spots. You can see things from areas where, one instance that was, brought to me immediately was we had an outrider last year. There was a situation where he was like getting dragged or running beside the horse, and no one knew if he was going to get on or not. And then he got on like right up underneath the bluff, and no one from the top could actually see it, but the cameras were on him. And if you were looking at one of those screens, you could see that he actually did make it on. And it was just like, there were a lot of cheers and screaming and yelling and stuff coming out of the pavilion. So you knew they were watching it. It was really cool.
Awesome.
It seems like small stuff, but it's really, it's small stuff, but it's also big when it boils down to a moment, to something that could be the moment somebody remembers for years to come. And and so the fact that you were able to go out there and do what this year?
So we improved that. We floated the idea last year, and then this year we actually did it. We went up and measured ahead of time. We took 3 65-inch screen TVs and mounted them up into the ceiling of the pavilion. So you still got your view. It doesn't block your view of the track or anything. And you can just look up and you can see everything that we're seeing. And you're getting that view from the drone. You're getting it from the announcer's camera, the starting line camera. Austin Black was down there on that. When it worked, you were getting it from Blaine on the corner, on the other end of the track. That's a long way to try to run a video signal. So we did the best we could there. So we got as many different perspectives back into that switcher as we could. So not only does it, maybe improve the spectator experience immediately, but it also helps us, produce content faster because we're switching it live. Yeah. So it's instead of having to retrieve all that footage from those cameras after the fact and then try to sort it later, if it was switched live and if it turned out well enough, then we can turn that around much, much quicker and get that out on the website so you can see the entirety of the race as it was shot that day. So
we don't have like every camera angle out there, obviously.
No,
we weren't transmitting from every single one of our cameras. We've got like a lot of cameras going, but you do have the announcer stand, you've got the starting line, you've got the drone. We do have the curve on some of that. And we like my camera, we have a camera that's out there transmitting on the ground a couple of these days too, which, so Friday's race, I put the transmitter on my camera and ran around. And so like I'm working on Friday's race right now. So that should be coming out. By the time people get this show, like Tuesday afternoon, I'm hoping to have Friday's race out. So that's kind of cool that we've kind of got that ability to send somebody out there and deploy them to run around with a camera and transmit back up to the switcher. And we have something that could theoretically go straight out there, but we still have to go back and comb through it because you don't want to have something go out there that's like, oh, we skimmed over somebody with their pants down or somebody's on their camera, you hear them talking and they said this word or they, we do have to comb through it. So it's not like we just put it straight out there, right. But that's what I'm working on right now. And so we'll have that out there for people to see, within a couple of weeks instead of it being a couple months like it's been in the past. And you get to see every race. So that's pretty neat that we'll have the Friday races up, literally like it's in the first couple of weeks of September here instead of it being like later.
Yeah. And that overcomes a lot of the limitations like on the DVD and stuff too, right? Because there's only so much space on a DVD. So you can't, you've never put every race on a DVD. Is that right?
No, we haven't. No, not unless we would have done something like, no, we haven't. Mm-mm.
Yeah. You just can't. I mean, you'd have to have like a 8-disc set or something to be able to do that.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
And the way that we do that, the format that we've done that in, where we put in titles, where we put in times, where we give all of that information, that stuff is hand done. Like that is an overlay on a screen that has to be tweaked and perfected for every single one of those races. I mean, it is a lot. So no, we're getting a little bit better, a little bit faster, and we're not going to have to do the DVD anymore after this year. I say not going to have to. I mean, we're not doing it because that was a decision that was made for the better of getting this stuff done, getting it out, making sure that we're staying with the times. And so it's going to be a good thing. But
and I think that frees up resources for you to do what you're doing better, what you're doing well, instead of doing several things, I'm not going to say badly, but maybe, not at the capacity which you could do if you didn't have to pay attention to a bunch of other stuff. So
yeah, at least weeks of time gained back.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's pretty substantial, but yeah, it's crazy. All the stuff that you were a part of this year, I had written a few things down. It's like, man, the production side of things, you're talking about the switcher for the production, the transmitters that you have to have, all of that line that you had to run to run fiber optics. I mean, people don't realize like how expensive and difficult that stuff is. And you can't like just be walking over it or smashing it. Like it's a little bit more fragile. Having the TVs mounted, I mean, that was a ton of work and time by you and your dad.
Yeah. That was like a 1:30 in the morning kind of thing. So yeah.
And then, and then walkie talkies too. I know you're out there making sure you had all that.
I noticed benefits of that. Like, compared to last year, our communication this year was good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a whole lot better, like during the races themselves. So, that was cool.
Which people on the Thursday races for the rookie races for the first half of that, they get to hear a fair amount of that, unfortunately, because we didn't have audio on the board.
Oh wow! Oh well, that would have been Friday actually. So then Friday morning.
Yeah.
So that was the other challenge is we went from a Thursday rookie race to all of a sudden we have a 9:00 start for races. And then we went all day. Friday was hard.
Yep.
Friday really took it, and I think that played into, you just roll it into the whole like 3 days, right? So it just to me it just made that much more exhausting. You know, I'm not saying like it was a good call. I think they made the right decision to do what they did, and it really saved the track. It made the track so much better than it would have been. Like it would have tore that thing up if they tried to do it, Thursday. And it was better for people watching. Like it was definitely the right move, but boy, did it kill us as far as trying to keep up, because it just rolled all that exhaustion right into Friday and then right into Saturday and Sunday. And by the time Sunday was over, I was dead.
Yep. It was
rough.
That was probably the most tired I've been. Yeah. After a week down there. And it probably, a lot of it is probably weather induced. I mean, because of the way things panned out Thursday. Had we gotten done with Thursday and kind of gotten a little bit more sleep that next morning, and then you kind of have the rinse and repeat Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the races, I think that it would have been a little different. But yeah, it was very, very nonstop from Thursday morning whenever we're all waking up and like, postponed. Okay, what else can we go do? Then reassign some stuff. Logistically speaking, it was not like we just got some time off there. It was like, okay, we got to pivot, and then we had to basically just add stuff in at that point. So it was good though. I mean, I think the story is going to be really good. I mean, I love a story that kind of starts slow like Thursday and just mounts all the way through the weekend, and then it all boils down to what happened Sunday, and so that's how you want those stories to go. And it was good, but it was good. I'm really happy with how our whole crew did this year. I could continue to talk about it, but we'll move on. But make sure you guys get over to chuckwagonchannel.com, subscribe, relive the ride. Every race from the national championships will be on there, as well as many years past. A lot of people don't know. You can just go on there and dig back through really like almost a 10-year archive at this point from the DVD down at Clinton. And as well as our television series, The Great Wagon Race, season 1 and 2 are there. Season 3 is underway. We should have the Friday races from this year up by the time this show airs. So get over there, chuckwagonchannel.com, $11 a month, $99 a year, and we appreciate you being a part of our racing community. All right, so some news and notes in the chuck wagon racing realm. Loretta Lynn's Fall Wagon Race, that is this weekend, September 13th and 14th. Those are the race days. As always, you're looking at that 1 o'clock p.m. start time. I believe that they hold true on that on Sunday as well out there, letting people get down to church, get out to the track. But reminder, they have their fall trail ride going on this week, and it could bring a little bit of added value for those of you that want to be in there a day or two earlier. Then when the races start, you just need to know that they do have some additional pricing. The trail ride price Thursday would be full price. I think it's like $80 for the whole day if you come in like early. If you come in afternoon, it's $50 for a band. Or if you come in after 7, it's $30 for a band. That $50 band would get you a steak dinner in the evening. So I'm just saying.
I was going to ask if that included meals and all, so it does.
Yeah, they're doing like on that $80 a day. You get 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner on that $80 a day. So like, I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool thing, and you can go and fellowship with trail riders. So, if you do go, make sure you hype up the chuck wagon races on the weekend. And if you haven't called in for some reason, you better call ASAP, because we're supposed to have these matchups ready for you by the time we post this show. So heads up, go check out LorettaLynnRanch.net or check out their Facebook page. It's a good place to see the schedule of events and a lot of stuff going on there. So don't forget, go ahead.
So a lot of that crew you're talking about that's going to show up on the trail ride may know nothing about the chuck wagon races. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, fully separate event. They're supposed to be educating them about all of that this week to let them know. And they've educated them already. They've sent them out stuff digitally. But because I think they were essentially having to kind of cut their event a day short or something. So they had to make them aware of what the reasoning was there, and then try to bridge the two events a little bit. And I think it could be a perfect, marriage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so I'm hoping that we see some of those trail riders out there along the track Saturday and Sunday for the races, and just create more hype around that event. I mean, maybe in the future they'll be like, yeah, we got to do it that way again. Makes total sense. So don't forget, still have the West Kentucky race in the first weekend of October and the Outlaw Nation Chuckwagon race October 31st through November 2nd, Halloween weekend. So I know our full crew that you see here, we will be at Chase Outlaw. We will be pushing to the max on that event. That's shaping up. We'll be talking about more of that as we go along. Let's talk about the ACWRA point standings right now. We've got three of these events left in the year between Loretta Lynn's right in front of us. We got West Kentucky and we got Chase Outlaw. So it's worth mentioning that they have a mulligan situation. Does that make sense to you guys, the two mulligans?
Just from being in kind of a competitive sport before, I used to shoot archery, but not that I was ever really good at it. But they had kind of a situation like that where you could basically drop, like say you couldn't make it, had a bad time, whatever, for whatever reason, you could drop however many they allowed in the mulligan out of your standings. So basically those did not count towards your standings. Mm-hmm. So it kind of basically what it's going to mean is you get the best. How many are there total? How many races are there total?
10 total races on the year.
So that your best 8 are going to be what counts.
You're going to take your best 8. Or if you went to all 10,
mm-hmm.
we're just telling you, if you only had 5 points at an event, whatever, like you drop those 2, it's not going to hurt you. It levels the playing field probably even more than you want on a 10 race season, but that is what the weather did this year. I mean, this Loretta's event that's been rescheduled for this coming weekend in the middle of September, it was supposed to be the Earth event of the year and they got rained out. So it is what it is. And so that helps some people out, but I can also see where it's hard for some of these races like Loretta's being further away. It's kind of making that opportunity or that case to not travel as far. What's up?
I'll be right back.
Do your thing. He's going to go kill something.
I am. I'm going to kill a box.
I hope that this means he has something cool in that box. Did something come in the mail?
Something came in the mail.
Is this the FedEx package you were expecting?
This is the FedEx package. The map, if you're following them on a map, the map is not accurate. Just so you know.
Okay. This is the big reveal.
This is it.
What did you order, Andy? Oh, no. You got a bigger, better drone?
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Are you going to do an unboxing video? Send it back and get sponsored by them?
I hate unboxing videos.
All right, so jumping into the point standings, it's important that we know we've got 3 races left. It's important that everybody knows you can get a max of 15 points at any given race. So there's still, potentially 45 points that could swing anybody's favor going to these races. And, and you look through these throughout the season, let's just kick it off with Big Horse Rubber Tire here. Just like if we're at a normal event, they come out the gate and you've got Freight Train who's leading this thing with 76 points. You've got BS Racing behind them with 66. And then you've got a couple of these like 50s, like the Flatlanders with 55, County Line Bunch with 50. And so you have a nice, I guess I would say a comfortable lead in your Freight Train right now. But let's say they miss a race. Let's say they miss one of these races coming up. They have a couple of these 5s that are in here. You have to just start thinking on that mulligan level. Like, okay, they could miss a couple races. They could take a mulligan. Whatever that means. Definitely want to get your hands onto these points totals, which we'll try and share a link to these in the show description below. We'll find a way to do that.
So explain to me how this works real quick, because I'm seeing odd numbers and stuff in here. So how do you accrue points? How much are the points? How many points are awarded for what?
So you can get 15 if you get first place. Okay. And that goes all the way down to, I think the lowest place would be like 10th or whatever. So you would get 5. If you race at all, if you make the line like you're supposed to and go and attempt to race, which is, I think the requirement is that you have to show up on the track and try to race. then you can make your minimum of 5, So if you show up to an event and you're there to race, I think that's kind of how that works. Give or take a couple of variables. Second place would get 14 points, third place 13, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
And so across all these events, like let's say you don't get an outrider, you don't get a qualified time on the weekend, I think you end up with 5. And so we've seen that, like when you look down through these, you see quite a few of these 5s, and that's just because it's hard to get a qualified time when you're out there trying to be competitive.
Well, then what do these X's represent if it's not
being there? You're not there. Yeah. You didn't show up. So
okay. So if you roll across the line, but you don't have an outrider catch, you still get the 5 or, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You get a little bit of something. Still get a Tootsie Roll, basically.
I get it.
So moving into the 46-inch mules, Savannah, what do you got there?
All right. So it looks like Ain't Scared is leading with an 84 at the moment, and they've only missed 1 race. So unless they miss one of these next ones, I like their odds. But Hickory Plains Outlaw is also coming up right behind them with 72, so that could swing.
And mind you, we're through 7 races, so knowing there's 3 more races and there's 45 points out on the table between the 3, a lot can happen here. I mean, 84 is a nice, comfortable lead, but you're wondering, like, hey, are they going to travel to Hurricane Mills? Are they going to travel to West Kentucky? And so there's still just so many variables. I know that there are going to be quite a few teams there's going to be several teams for sure that are notable that are not going this weekend. So it's still competitive. And I'm sorry, did you get the top 3 there or just top 2?
Top 2. Top 3 would be Sue's Pawn at 42. So again, top 3, we've got Ain't Scared with an 84, Hickory Plains Outlaw 72, and Sue's Pawn at 42.
Yeah. And I guess the really interesting thing that you have to kind of think about when you think about mulligans. So the fact that Ain't Scared has shown up and gotten 13 or more points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races. That means that they will max out in 2 of the next 3. So they would cap out they could potentially, I say that. You just have to think about how they could cap out there.
Mm-hmm.
They can't really go and get 45 more points. They can't.
Right.
Because they've made 6 races already. Yeah. So that is kind of an interesting thing, if you're out there trying to be competitive, and then you look at Hickory Plains Outlaws, who have missed 2 races. So they actually have more potential for getting more points than it looks like on paper. So just stuff to think about, which it's kind of tough to process that, but if you're really into it, look into this stuff and you'll see what I'm talking about. Andy, what are you seeing here on these 46-inch ponies?
Looks like Outlaw is leading with the highest point.
That is that's a busy sheet. Yeah, Outlaws 99, Freight Train at 70 looks like.
Got a handful of 50s in there.
Yeah, it gets close real quick. Like when you go down the line, I mean, you drop down to, what is it, going nuts at 55 after that?
Oh, and then Derek Hands is at a 54 with 2 mulligans. So they're making the next 2. I would think.
Right.
Yep.
So, I mean, you're 55, 54 with Derek Hands, and then you've got multiple 50s in there. You've got Hell's Bells. You've got Bent Shank. You've got Twisted Spoke. It's really group tight once you get down into that 50 range. There's only a couple of them that are like standing out really high on that. And the Outlaws, I mean, you've got, they're scored so high through there that that comes into play, like you were talking about there. I mean, they can only gain so much more. And, because I mean, what's your upper limit? What is that? Like 120 or something? Yeah. So 120 is as high as you can possibly score for the entire season, the way that that's set up. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think you're on there. So let's just go ahead and say it. So your maximum points, if you get 8 races times 15, get 120 total possible points. Yeah, I mean, a team like the Outlaws, knowing that they actually have room that they could go and get 15 more to add to their 99, I would say that if they go and they finish reasonably well at the next race, which I'm sure they will, I think that they're pretty untouchable for first place there. And that's probably one of a few divisions where it's quite that, like, they have a pretty commanding lead.
Yeah.
So that's, the Penningtons there getting it done. And then, so they basically just need to show up because they've got 7 races where they're 12 or more. I mean, they've put in the work and put in the miles, I should say, as well.
That's the real thing I say there. Smiles.
But they also finish in the top 3. I mean, that's what they do. So 52-inch ponies. When you look down through here, you see
like Outlaws again.
Outlaws, another one that they race in very regularly. They're looking at a 73. You've got a 57 for the Bumblebees, Joey Munn's in them. You've got D&D Farms at 56, Crossroads Express with 50, and then another notable down here with 54 is Derek Hands. So that's a place that you could start looking, look between the lines a little bit, because there have been some races missed. And, you talk about some of these teams that travel well that are going to go and make up some times. And then you look at the Outlaws, who have had 5. Let's see, they've had 3 races where they've won it with 15. They've had 3 races where they posted a 5. So, and then a 13 on another race. So they have room to improve for sure. So there's still some room there. I still think that if the Outlaws show up and they show out, they've got a nice lead there. 52-inch mules. What are you seeing here, Savannah?
All right. So it looks like we've got Hickory Plains Outlaws leading with 65 points. Coming in behind them is Coming Undone with 55, if I'm seeing this correctly. And then we drop down to the 30s. Got 38, Trump Train. We've got a 32, 30, 31, a couple high 26s. So I think it still could be anyone's game in that top tier.
Yeah.
Depending on who's traveling to the Kentucky race.
Especially when you have a team that has several 15s like you did in the last division you were talking about, but then they have several 5s. They have a lot more to gain if they can replace one of those 5s with a 15 versus somebody who has, like, say, a bunch of, I don't know, 11s or 12s or something like that. Or, they got to drop that 12 to put that 15 there if they're considering mulligans. So, like, there's some strategy that, just the number on its face is not the whole story.
Yeah. Well, it stays interesting, more interesting than it looks at first glance. Going into the buckboard here, this is one I know that I've been kind of keeping an eye on this year, where you got several very competitive teams. You've got Freight Train just behind Full Throttle Loca. So they've got 73, and you've got Freight Train with 72. You've got Rarin' to Go with 69. Full Hulse has 63. Keystone Express with 55. I mean, you're talking about some teams that this is where you see the travel come in, because if somebody doesn't want to travel, then that could hurt them here. And Full Throttle Loca has already missed 2 races. So if they want to keep on top of the leaderboard, they've got to travel. And I know that Jana is a big part of this event that's coming up. She's a big part of this event that's coming up in another week in Dardanelle. And so we'll see if everybody's willing to travel. But I mean, it's kind of there for the taking if she can travel and stay on top of it, which, after coming off this Clinton win, I hope that they're staying high and they're riding high and that they're going to keep going after it. But I haven't talked to her since Clinton. So we'll see later when we see the matchups and see who's going to be showing up to this race. But yeah, I mean, just because we know how Full House races, they've missed 2. We know that they're going to show up and they're going to put a couple more of these good performances on the board, which could help them chip away at that deficit. So we'll see what happens. It's still anybody's game in the buckboards. What are you seeing on big mules, Andy?
Oh my, what a big division. Yeah. So what do we got here? We got Diamond S Express at 63. Is anybody ahead of that? You see anybody higher than a 63?
Going nuts, 65.
Oh, yeah. There they are. Yep. Going nuts. Oh, how did we miss that? So we got, man, that's stacked though. So we got Going Nuts at 65, Diamond S Express at 63. Then right there behind them, we got Outlaws again, 60. 58, Sue's Pond. It's so close though. Like this one you're seeing tons of time or tons of scores that are could really, when we say it's anybody's game, like this really could be anybody's game. And I think that speaks to the chaos of the Big Mule division itself more than it does anything else, because you're not seeing like some crazy 99 or 100 point score in there, because anyone can have a bad day in this division.
Yep.
And anybody can get super lucky and do something too. So
it looks like Going Nuts has got the consistency factor. They've got several of these like they score 9, they score 7, they score 7, they score 9.
Yeah.
And that just shows they're racing, but it also shows that they are missing out on like the speed aspect potentially, or getting it done.
And that's exactly what I was just talking about on the last one. It's like now if they try to drop a 15, they got to drop a 7 at the least. So if they're a 15 to them, it's not a 15 that they're adding to a 0. It's a 15 and they've got to exchange it. They're culling now. They have to exchange that for something. Whereas somebody that has an X or a 5 in there, they're just adding 15 points from nothing. So it's free. It's kind of, I say free points, but that's kind of what it is. And in their case, it's not like they're giving something up when they put that in. So after they get their 8 anyway, I should say.
Well, it'll be fun to see who's showing up this weekend. Savannah, why don't you go ahead and hit on the classic here? I know that you're passionate about what's happening here.
Oh, and I had the perfect shirt for this, and I walked out of the house after lunch and didn't put it on. I had it set out. Okay, County Line Bunch is leading right now with a 75. I'm very excited for them. Coming in with number 2, holding 66, is BS Racing. And then, let's see, we dropped down to 42 behind them with Lucky G. So,
yep, the Classic is one of those tough. I mean, that is a tough division to travel in, because you're talking about, we're going to go ahead and pack up a wagon on top of another wagon or a trailer and travel with 1,000-pound added wagon to our cargo. So yeah, that's a tough one to travel in, and County Line Bunch has done that better than anybody. BS Racing has only missed one race, and so there's a little bit of the strategy comes into play again here, because County Line Bunch has 3 5s, so they've been probably missing outriders or whatever it may be. It's funny, they are a 15 or they are a 5. They have been either dominating and winning, or they don't get the outrider. And I know why. It's because they've been running as hard as they can this year to get ready for Clinton. Yeah. And now we're done with Clinton, and they get to go out there and they're going to run for a title here. They're going to run for a points championship. And I guess really in my opinion, I don't know how BS Racing plans on traveling for the rest of the season, but they do have the opportunity to make up an additional 5 points that you don't see here, because they've only missed one race, and County Line Bunch has made all the races. So if that makes sense, County Line Bunch could potentially add. County Line Bunch with their 75 points could only potentially add 20 more. I know this gets a little bit confusing, but they cannot add another 30 points to 75, because they're going to have to drop a couple of races. No, and I'm not saying that totally right. They can't earn 45 more points. So they could earn 35 more points.
So if I'm
going to have to drop 2 of these 5-pointers somewhere.
If I'm understanding this correctly, only 10 races points are what's included in that overall total. So even if they attend, say, 12 races, they're only counting the scores from 10 of those 12.
Well, they actually only count the scores of 8 from 10.
Okay.
Right.
So it's 8. So it's 8 total that you get to count.
Yeah.
And there's 10 total races.
So 10 sanctioned ACWRA races, and 8 of them can be counted toward your year-end points. And it's going to be your top 8 finishes. So, the reality is for County Line Bunch, knowing that they've got 3 5s on the board, if they come to the last 3 races and score 15 at each one, they're gonna replace a couple of those 5s. But that still means they can't get 45 more points. That means they could get 35 more points, because they're going to drop a couple of 5s.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully everybody can kind of stay there with that. I know that's tough. I know if you're a racer, you're probably kind of looking at this thinking, I think I get it. but
and it also helps if you're like us and you're looking at this nice spreadsheet that we have with the X's and the numbers.
Yeah,
a lot easier to visualize.
we'll make sure that there's some access to this, and go to ACWRA, go to their Facebook page. They should be posting points and stuff too, and I'll make sure that happens. So, but yeah, so that's kind of wrapping up what we're looking at on points today. We want to talk about it. That's something we haven't done a whole lot in the past. We'll get better about that in the future. Obviously, we're sitting here, externally processing all this stuff, and we apologize for that. But yeah, we want to get better at about how we present all these points and make sure people know and understand how we're tracking with this throughout the season. It is important, especially when we go to Chase Outlaws event at the end of the year, and it's all about who's in first place.
Yeah.
Who's in second place, who's in third place, because there's going to be a lot at stake whenever you go to an event that big. Like we go to Clinton, where it's not about the money, it's not about the points, it's about the buckle. And I think when you get into the Chase Outlaw scenario here, where they're going to have a big event that's going to really bring this atmosphere, I think people are going to be reminded again, like, I don't want to lose at this event. Yeah. I think it's very important that we win at this event. And so there's going to be a lot of things culminating at that point in the season to kind of wrap out the year. So
I feel like there ought to be a finals situation here, just personally. For the future of the sport, I really like. That's just my opinion. I think it's kind of like you see at Clinton. If you're within a second, you get a runoff.
Yeah.
I think there should be a certain threshold of points that if you're that close to the lead, there should be a runoff. There should be like a championship race between you and them.
Yeah, I don't dislike that. I mean, I think brainstorming here.
Yeah, no, yeah. This is nothing official. This is I just
Don't
thought of this.
come with fears.
Yeah, exactly. Don't come at me don't be at my door with the pitchforks. I'm just saying. I think it would be a draw. I think it would be a really fun idea. I think it would be super cool.
I would like the idea of like maybe as like a transition year where there becomes a final, like you're saying. Yeah, especially with how many racetracks there are now. I mean, I could see Chase Outlaws event being a final where it's also, a cash race or whatever. Like you want to go and win the buckle that weekend, but you can win the finals that weekend as well. I mean, I could see there being a hybrid like out the gate, but to say, like you were saying, if you were getting a benefit or an added benefit by having raced throughout the year and you have the best, you're in the top 4, you're in the top 5, top 8, whatever, it would be kind of cool, in my opinion, if maybe you don't win. Maybe you can win a points buckle, but then you win a finals buckle. Man, that's a tough one. That's something for debate.
Who's paying for the buckles?
It's who's
right? Yeah. How do we raise that? How do we raise that money? Yeah.
Well, it's up for debate. Put in the comments below what you think about how you would like to see. How do you like to see something like this transition in the future? At the end of the year, the association, they put out the feelers. They say, hey, let us know your ideas for the association so that we can go and mull that over with the board, with their staff, and then they can present those things, and then there can be that back and forth before we get to all that new business that's presented at the annual meeting in January. So that's a really interesting place to be thinking about stuff, because with the growth of the sport, with the growth of the association, how do you change things from a format standpoint to accommodate the size and to accommodate the entertainment, like the spectator, to accommodate them so that it's the best possible show. And then,
I said I kind of like the idea of doing a Christmas invitational where they take the top 3 performing teams of every division point standing, and that's the show. And it's, track owners who wants to volunteer to host this spectacular holiday event, but that would be pretty cool. Have like a little Chuckwagon Christmas.
That would be cool. And I think you'd be surprised how many people would probably show up for that.
I'm imagining it at Whiskey Ridge. I don't know why. I'm just thinking Whiskey Ridge with Christmas trees and wreaths and ornaments on the trees.
Oh, they would deck it out.
A little Christmas party in the arena. Come on. Rodeo dressed up as Santa Claus and the Rudolph and the reindeer. All of it.
Just going off how crazy.
I have ideas.
Just going off how crazy they get when it comes to the holidays and the kind of layouts I've seen for their podcast for that time of year. I think they would.
I would love it.
Yeah, snowblower. Bring in like the fake snow. Yeah. It would be a hill for skiing and tubing. Oh, wow.
We need to find someone to make real eggnog.
Ew.
Oh, where are we going to find that at? Somebody to put alcohol in the
I mean, from
in the
scratch,
drinks?
like all the things,
No.
but with the alcohol.
It would happen. Well, that is kind of what it looks like, guys. So you're going to get the matchups from Savannah. She's going to put that into the show here. You're going to see that.
Ha! Wardrobe change. Now I have my shirt. I am going to run through the Loretta Lynn's matchups, and it is just me today. David is out filming. It kind of feels like Home Alone, but the Office version. So, Youth Outriders 8 and under, we have Jagger Pennington and Tulsa Nutt. Youth Outriders 9 to 14, Livy Killens, Micah Stamps, Bear Smotherman, and Austin Pruitt. Big Horse Rubber Tire Heat 1, County Line Bunch and a bye run. Heat number 2 is Freight Train against 8 Skeered. Heat number 3 is BS Racing against Trump Train. Then moving down to 46-inch mules. Heat number 1, Trump Train on a bye run. Heat number 2, Ain't Scared and Where's Robbie. 46-inch ponies. Heat number 1, Outlaws against the Western Junkies. Heat number 2, Wild Ones against Bad Luck and Trouble. Heat number 3, Hell's Bells Hot Flash and Split Decisions. And then heat number 4 is going to be FSR Pony Edition against Freight Train. 52-inch ponies, Bumblebees against Trump Train in heat number 1. And then we've got heat number 2, Outlaws against Running Blind. 52-inch mules, heat number 1, Fashionably Late against Trump Train. Heat number 2 is a bye run against Freight Train. Heat number 3 is Bad and Bougie against BS Racing. Buckboard. Heat number 1, Full Throttle Loca and a bye run. Heat number 2, Full House against Freight Train. All right, Youth Mules 8 and under. We've got Clay Ain't Scared, Clay Myatt. Trump Drain, driven by Riley Pillow. Hee Haw Express, driven by Bucket Lyle. Corbin Ain't Scared by Corbin Myatt. And Running Blind, driven by Ryder Rakeshaw. Youth Mules 9 to 14. Ain't Scared, driven by Austin Pruitt. Then moving down to Big Mules. Heat number 1. Okay, sorry. Heat number 1 is going to be Wide Ass Open. Yes, Wide Open. I like it. All right, heat number 1, Wide Ass Open. I can't stop saying it. What? Okay, let's try this again. Heat number 1. We know the first team. Against Diamond S Express. Okay. Now that I'm serious again. Heat number 2 is Outlaws against Sue's Pawn. Heat number 3 is going to be Freight Train against LL Trail Bosses. Interesting name. Youth Pony 8 and under. We've got Outlaws, Jagger Pennington, Going Nuts, Tulsa Nut, and Freight Train, Timber May Tuttle. All right, Youth Ponies 9 to 14. We've got Hell's Bells Hot Flash, driven by Jace Howard. FSR Pony Edition, driven by Ava Beatty. Split Decisions, driven by Austin Pruitt. Wild Ones, driven by Livy Killens. Outlaw Stampede, driven by J.D. Bradley. Going Nuts, driven by Levi Lehman. And Freight Train, driven by Bear Smotherman. Classic divisions, we only have one heat. It's going to be County Line Bunch and BS Racing. 4 up 52-inch mules. We have Ain't Scared running against Running Blind. And then heat number 2, wrapping up on a bye run, is Where's Robbie? Looks like it's going to be a small, cozy race. And I say small and cozy compared to some of these 150-plus teams that we've seen out this summer. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope we get some fall weather. I've never been to Kentucky, never been to Loretta Lynn, so I, for one, am very excited. Looking forward to seeing you guys all out there.
Thank you again for hanging around, listening to us jabber about where the points are at and everything that we did down in Clinton. Hopefully you enjoyed this show. If you did, make sure you subscribe and relive the ride at chuckwagonchannel.com. A lot of good stuff coming out right now from Clinton. A lot of stuff from the races that we were just down there. All of us were a part of. It's a great time to be a fan of wagon racing. So have a wonderful week. We'll see you at Loretta Lynn's this weekend. And for the rest of you, we'll just see you out on the track.
Well, hello, everybody. I am Savannah Smith, and I'm joined by my co-host, Badger, a.k.a. the Tasmanian Devil. I'm just kidding. He's actually very calm. I think he just wants to play instead of sit in my lap.
Thanks for listening to the CWC podcast.